KISW.
My generation, I'm 10 years older than Kevin. So, and I consider myself like the real elder statesman because, Kevin and Chris Hardwick are about the same age and you're a little younger. But I'm sitting there going, man, here I am 10 years previous. I mean, you did not even want it. I had friends that said, look, I like Star Trek, but if you tell anybody that I like Star Trek, I'll kick your ass because he had a bunch of cool friends he hung out with. It was that. Did that ever happen to you guys where you still got grief from people for digging what you dug?
I don't. You know what? It's like I think that I sort of blended in with everybody, so I don't think the people I used to hang out with were it was all about girls and going to the beach and drinking and stuff, and then when I started getting into that stuff, it's like my friends didn't really care. It was just like I started hanging out with Kevin and those guys, older guys, and we would go and that intrigued me, and I mean, no one. I wasn't really the cool guy, and I wasn't really the geek, really. I feel like I was in the middle. I was like the guy pulling my business out and stuff. So I think I distracted people from knowing, pulling my business out would distract them from
because
what I would do.
That's funny with all types of people, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone can relate.
Because I'm watching Comic Book Man, and Walt and Kevin are hardcore. You can't have the knowledge those two guys have, knowing that their faces were in comic books. They weren't pulling their junk out for anybody.
No.
They were hardcore geek time, and then you roll along being you, and it's amazing that you got let in because geeks can be as exclusive as anybody.
Yeah,
and you found a way to sort of hang. Though they did say you bothered them for a while, and they were.
I did. I harassed Kevin. I used to, and I would say Walt and Bry. Like I would go in and I'd go to the community center, and they'd be in the corner. I would just be like, "Yo, let me get a comic. Let me hang it." And I think it's like I kept harassing them, but I think that even though at first I was bothering them, I think that Kevin especially was interested that he was able to be like, give me his old comics and start telling me about comic books. Like he was able to start telling me, and I think he liked that he was like sort of tutoring
like a
someone.
Mentor,
yeah, sort of all of a sudden he was like, he was a Jedi master, and all of a sudden I was a Padawan, and so he was like, so awesome. I think so it was interesting.
Well, I got to tell you,
we got one text message. Some person said, "I just got my tickets at the Moore," and also says, "Hey, Steve, can you ask him to say Snoochie Boochies?"
Snitch to the nooch, Snoochie Boochies.
There's been so many texters saying that in some way or shape or another. It's got to be pretty awesome to know that you've had such an iconic, personality on the big screen.
It's interesting that the snooch and the nooch, because it started as ne, and then just nang, because me and my buddies would go, because it's again going back to me pulling my junk out. If someone got offended by that, I would sort of wait to see what their face, and if they were like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "Nah, nah," and that was me saying, "Just kidding." Instead of me being like, "I'm just kidding, man, I'm just kidding," I would go "Nah, nang," and that they'd be like, "Oh, he must be kidding, man. He's saying nah." Yeah. So
That's awesome.
It's sort of, and then it sort of went on and on from that to nang to snooch and snoogans. But it's been interesting. It's something that I didn't think like, hopefully this will catch on. It just sort of, Kevin put it in the movie when he wrote the character, and now I even catch him once in a while being like snooch.
First of all, loved you and Zach and Miri. I thought that was really a great role for you because it showed a lot, and and also loved you in Noobs, man. I had a lot of fun with that movie as you guys are traveling for a big gaming convention and big competition.
Awesome. Yeah, that was fun.
So what do we got? We know you're doing the producing, directing, kind of like look at this aspect. Are we going to see any more of you on the screen?
You know what?
I love Noobs. I almost want a Noobs too. Can we do it?
You know what? I hope so. And I've been talking to the guy who wrote it and directed it, Blake Freeman, and he's been telling me, he's been keeping up. Of course, that's sort of his baby, and he's like, "Look, man, Isaac, I really want to do it. I think I have it too in me." And I've been getting good feedback. So I don't know. He tells me that things seem to be going well with the movie and the feedback and stuff. That he said it looks like there might be a 2. Excuse me, which I think would be a perfect movie to roll into a 2. Like I feel like it could go anywhere because those guys could have got sponsorship and there's a whole new adventure. But that movie was a lot of fun. It was one of the besides making movies with Kevin's one thing. It's like I always have a blast, and it's always like a family affair with all the View Askew movies and the Jay character and stuff. But out of all the other movies I've done, honestly, Noobs was one of the movies I had the most fun on, because those three guys that I was shooting with, we just had a blast, and especially the Blake Freeman, the like my best friend in the movie, we just ad-libbed a ton. Like, he was the director, so he's like, me and him would start talking in the scene, and then I would just start throwing stuff at him, and he would throw stuff back at me, just ad-libbing, and then a lot of it made it into the movie. Like, when we're sitting in the restaurant and we're talking about, I'm like, come on, man, we got to go there, we got to go meet the. So that's just awesome. It was a blast making that. But hopefully there's a 2. Hopefully, Clerks 3 happens and goes as planned. Yeah. And then I just had a meet there. I've been going on meetings and stuff for some TV stuff.
Oh man.
I'm hoping that we're doing me and my buddies, 2 of my buddies just shot a 8-minute. It's going to be a web series, but there's 10 episodes, but we shot the first episode that's about 7-8 minutes, and we're going to put it out. They're editing it right now, but hopefully that goes well. It's cool. It's like a first-person shooter style web series.
Well, we got to listen. When
it's called Vigilante Diaries.
Yeah, Vigilante Diaries. Well, when it gets closer to release that, Jay, we'll have you back on. We'll let you talk about it. We'll get in touch with you, because I love promoting everything you guys do, because it's a lot of fun, and I'm also so happy, man, that tight bond that you have with Kevin, like you talked about, and he said before on our show, how happy he is that, you're healthy and you guys are doing well, and you have no bitterness towards him, too. And I think that's wonderful, man, because it was a dark period for you, and you guys got through it, and that's cool. I'm so happy for both of you guys, man.
Thank you very much.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.